They complied. The elder boy retrieved their heavy cloaks lying atop a wooden chest and swung one around his brother's shoulders. The knight stepped forward and Richard shrank back against his brother. Hawker tried to smile and reassure, but this somehow came out as a twisted grimace. He lowered his chin. "We must go, and go quietly." The older boy opened the chest and pulled out a prayer missal bound in leather and secured with golden clasps. Hawker reached forward and slowly took it from the boy's hand, laying it down upon the lid. "You won't be needing that, my lord." He led them out, listening intently, down the wide winding steps of the keep, the way he had entered. They had reached the flagstones of the entry hall and the great archway that led out to the yard, when the elder brother began a fit of coughing again. The knight pulled him back gently by the shoulder. "I beg you, for the love of Christ, you must stop that," he hissed in a whisper. Richard began to cry again, and this time the sobbing was audible. It echoed around them. The older boy restrained his coughing fit and turned to look at his captor. "Where are you taking us?" Hawker regarded the boy. He had once been a king, the other a prince. He couldn't think of words to give either of them much hope. The griping pain seizing his belly tightened further. "You will see. Fear not." His smile was as insincere as a street beggar's. Hawker then drew out his dagger, its accompanying rasp barely muffled by his cloak. "Let's go." Part 1. The White Boar. 1. 2 years later. Eavesdropping might be a sin, but eavesdropping upon a king is treason. The priest lay face down, cheek stinging as it pressed the gritty garret floorboards of the White Boar Inn. Although it looked like he was prostrate in prayer, in truth he was doing no such thing. He tilted his head ever so slightly and looked down. Down through the narrow thumb-wide gap that he had enlarged earlier, scrape by surreptitious scrape with his eating knife. His right eye searched what he could see of the room below. The sound of conversation floated up to him as if he were in the very chamber, but he could not see. Frustrated, he moved his right hand to pick up a small piece of mirror glass, but in so doing, his silver crucifix dragged along the floorboards. The scoring noise made him freeze, his heart nearly stopping. They were still talking below. No alarm. Priest or not, if he was discovered, it would mean a blade rammed down his throat or driven into his belly. At least I shall go to my death without sin. It's no sin to spy on a usurper, he thought. He edged the mirror over the crack. Angling it downwards, he tilted it until it framed the object of his search. The priest allowed himself a thin smile. He was indeed there, talking with another. He pressed his hairy ear to the crack. Snippets rose up from below. Whose troops were arriving, whose were late. All of it a monotonous drone. Leicester was stuffed to the brim with soldiery, and on the morrow, Richard Plantagenet's army would venture out on the road south, searching for the enemy that was hunting him. The priest had spent the day ministering to the troops of York, at least those that would listen to him, hearing the confessions of a few pious ones as the hour of battle drew nearer. The hour, no doubt, of their wretched deaths. And for the whole of the afternoon he had hidden himself in the garret, waiting and hoping that he might gather something useful. Something secret. The priest knew that young Henry Tudor was fast approaching with what he hoped was a vast force. A force that would see King Richard and his cronies cleansed from England's ravaged land. One last fight to end the bloody quarrel and heal the kingdom. The two great houses, Lancaster and York, grappling each other for the right to rule, had surely earned the Lord's wrath. God willing, the impending battle would be an end to Richard and just punishment for his having murdered 2 innocent children, the true and rightful heirs to the throne. If he could learn anything to help make that happen, and convey it to Henry's men,